Welcome back to Schizophrenia Life. I hope you guys are having an amazing night. Today's Friday, so pretty much everyone should be out drinking, partying, and I'm just kidding. You should be at home reading your Bible. God. All right. We're gonna start this off with a shout out. Now, this is from a good friend and supporter of the podcast, and um, the shout out goes out to anyone. I'm assuming anyone under the age of 18 is who the shout out's meant for. So, anyone young, struggling, and unable to get out of the situation, because some people have home problems that they can't escape because they can't move out. And so, if you fall into that category, just know that you're not alone. There's others out there that are dealing with the same thing. And I've said this before, and I've said it more than once. No matter what you're going through, now this isn't supposed to make your situation better. I'm just letting it's all about perspective. There's always someone out there with it with worse problems than you who have it harder than you. And so when you think about, the problems that you have, first you try to solve the problems. If you can't solve the problems, like right away, at least you can think about the fact that it could always be worse, and there's people out there who have it worse than me. You know, it broke my heart one time. I watched this documentary. There's an amazing company. What's their name? I think they're just called Water, but they're building wells in Africa for fresh water, and they went out and videotaped these people who have to walk, like their whole day is about surviving basically. They have to walk, miles and miles multiple times a day to get water and carry the water back. And you would think they were walking that far to get clean water. No. The piece that just crushed me, this little girl was drinking this muddy, I don't even want to call it water. I want to call it more like liquid mud. It was it was so bad I wouldn't even want to walk through it. Like it there it was just mud basically with like barely more liquid than mud, and she was filling up this water bottle and drinking it. That was literally the only water in the area for her, and she would drink some, it would make her throw up, and then she would try to force herself to drink some more because she was that close to dying of no water that she was just forcing herself to drink the mud basically. It just, and I'm not even joking, like I wouldn't even walk through it. That's how bad it was. um I might walk through it if I had like boots or something. Besides the point, I'm just saying, it's someone always has it worse. I saw a video of a dude who his job is literally to crawl through uh uh sewer pipes and clear out blockages. That dude has worse problems than, than a lot of people. Uh, I saw a guy whose job is to, and these people are just trying to survive. Like they have no alternative. They live in places where you're lucky if you can get a job. Most of them don't have jobs. The rise of suicide in the world, the suicide rates are rising to unbelievable levels. One of the biggest suicide countries in the world is India. people are getting into so much debt because they're having to truck in most parts of India. The farmers they're all getting in so much debt because the only way they're surviving is by trying to pay to truck in food, or not food, truck in water to keep their plants growing, because with the it's basically desertification, where a lot of India is turning from, you know, farmable land into desert, and a lot of their crops and stuff are dying because they have a water shortage across most of India. And so all these farmers are getting into debt because they're just taking out loans and loans and loans, trying to truck in water so their crops can finish growing, so they can sell them and make money and hopefully pay back their loans. And then they don't make enough, and they have all this debt and they can't pay it back. And so instead of trying to work out the issue, they end up killing themselves. There's I watched uh, a video. There's a river, and all the cops in the area deny, on the world stage they deny it, but there's a video. They went down and investigated, and there's a river, in where in this part of the in this part of India, they all go to the river, kill themselves, and end up in the river. And um, they said that they fish at least 6 bodies out of this one river per day. Per day, they're just fishing bodies out left and right of people that committed suicide. It's ridiculous. And um, I work with someone from India, and I asked them about it, and they confirmed it. And it's just it, it. You always have a choice. Suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. No matter what is going on in your life, you can get past it. You can survive it. But if you take the route of suicide, then you're not only pushing your problems off to other people, you're condemning your family to the grief and sorrow that they're gonna feel when they find out, and the amount of time it takes them to move on. Maybe they never move on, and so now their life is gonna be affected for the rest of their life because you couldn't stay strong and find a solution to the problem. Now, I'm not saying it's easy. It's hard as shit. If you're dealing with depression, if you're dealing with anxiety, PTSD, schizophrenia, it's hard as shit to get through it. It's hard. Sometimes it's hard to just get out of bed. But it's better to suffer through that and push forward, and look for that light at the end of the tunnel. Look at the light at the end of your suffering. It's better to look for that than to just give up and end your life, because you're taking the easy way out. There in mythology, and um and a lot of the older texts talking about 2000 years ago, um a lot of the stories that they told, when they wanted to punish someone, they didn't kill them. They didn't kill the person that needed to be punished. They killed their family. And then they left that the person who needed to be punished had to live knowing, and they had to live knowing with, or like live knowing that it was their fault, and they had to suffer for years and years and years. Or there was one, yeah, that's what it was. So it was a husband and wife. The husband did something bad. The wife killed the kids, and then he had to suffer. And he wasn't, you know, punished in the fact that he was punished by the fact that he had to live, and he had to live knowing pain and suffering for the rest of his time. It's a lot harder to stick around than to give up and be gone. You only get one life. You only get one chance. I was talking to someone uh, on Twitter, and we were having a civil discussion. They sent me a private message, and we were talking civilly um, about a few things, mainly about depression and things like that. But I can't remember exactly how it went. Um, it was along the context of um, man, I'm drawing a blank now, and I don't want to look it up, because I'm not sure which conversation it was. I've been having a lot of conversations with people on Twitter. I was surprised. I decided like the last week or so, I've been starting to like 20 minutes a day just comment on people's tweets that are dealing with depression or anxiety or PTSD. And I just because they all use the hashtag, right? So I look up, and anyone that seems like they're struggling, then I comment and give my 2 cents and let them know if they need to talk to me, I'm here. And so they'll private message me, and we'll talk. Um, it was funny today. Uh, One guy messaged me today, and I literally, when I saw him message me, I thought he was messaging me to troll me, or like like tell me off, but he didn't. His initial text was a somewhat stern, and then I explained what I meant by what I had said, and he said, "Oh, I didn't see it that way. Thank you for explaining." I was like, "Wow, this is like I thought it was gonna be uh a confrontational set of messages, and it actually turned out quite pleasant." I'm surprised I don't get any. I actually don't get any bad messages. Um, I get I think a few years ago, like maybe 2 years ago, I tried to like do YouTube videos, and I literally it was on an old channel, not the Schizophrenia Life one that's up now. It was on it was on my first YouTube channel, and I don't know what I was making videos about back then. Probably something stupid, but regardless, the only comments I ever got were trolls, like putting me down, and now, back then it, hurt my feelings, but now I just feel bad for them. Like I don't get any nowadays, but I feel bad for them in the fact that like it's got to be depressing that the way you want to spend your time is finding people online to put down. That's how you want to spend your time? Like you value your time so little that you want to spend it bullying and putting other people down. Like I feel bad for them, you know? And you the way I'd respond to it now is say, I sorry you feel that way, but I love you. Let me know if I can do anything for you. I mean, what else can you do? You can't, it I honestly I wouldn't do it because I'm not a dick, but I wouldn't do it because it's just a waste of my time. Honestly, I would much I value my time too much. I would much rather be doing something else. Um, let's go on a side note, like personal side note. So I started growing the fuck, the alfalfa sprouts, basically the microgreens, and they're doing amazing. Like I'm so excited. Like it's so funny how the like this little thing can bring so much excite. It makes me so excited. So like I, it was so hard, you know, the waiting, and it was only 3 days. So you plant them and you cover them up for 3 days, and so you peek in there, water them a little bit, but basically you just let them sit in the dark for 3 days. But then you on the after 3 days you pull it off and you put it under the light, and they just shoot. They're shooting up. They're growing so fast. It only takes 6 days to grow them, and it's amazing how excited I get watching these little things grow. Like, oh man, I don't know how to explain it. It's so cool. Um, and the fact that like in another day or two I get to eat them. Whew, I'm excited. Um, and then I was out in the garden. I was cleaning up in the garden today. Um, and I've been getting a lot of tomatoes. Most of my tomatoes are finally starting to turn red. Got the cucumbers and the zucchini ready. Um, just a really good gardening year this year. And it's just really to get me outside. I really hope for the YouTube. I hope I can do a video this weekend of going on a hike, because one of my bucket list goals is to go on a hike in the Alps. And so I'm hoping to get that done this weekend. Just hopefully it works out. And it's really just the trip, like the driving down there, um, that just sucks. I hate driving long distance. And I hate going anywhere. I hate going alone because I'm always afraid that, someone's gonna jump out and kill me. Realistically, like I'm not lying. Like I literally fear for my life when I go anywhere alone. I don't even like going to the fucking grocery store alone. I don't like uh I do it because I have to. Like I go to the city because I have to. I have to go to work. Um but I am extremely uncomfortable. Like I have to take the train there, which is not too bad. But then I have to take from the train, I have to take the subway to get to the work. And I hate taking the subway. Like, I just feel like if I look at someone, they're just gonna like they don't have guns here, but everyone probably has knives, right? So I just feel like if I look at someone on the subway, I think they're just gonna like freak out and stab me. Like it's weird, but and then there's other times where I can't control, like I can never control what voices I hear, right? And sometimes they say shit that's funny. And so I'll be standing there, just trying to mind my own business on the subway, and they'll say something funny and I'll just start laughing because it's funny, and the whoever is standing on the other side of me will think I'm laughing at them, and I'm not. I can't help it if imaginary people fucking are talking, telling jokes to me. I mean, it's better than the fucked up shit they say, but I mean, that's schizophrenia. But it makes me really uncomfortable because then the person's looking at me like I'm crazy. I mean, technically I am, but they don't know that. But then they're looking at me like, man, why is this dude laughing at me? And then I'm like, oh great, he thinks I'm laughing at him. Now he's gonna stab me, definitely. Uh, and this is a daily battle. Like every time I go to work, I have to deal with this. And like I always get the feeling that people are following me if they're walking behind me on the sidewalk. I hate people walking behind me. So whenever I'm walking down the sidewalk, it if someone's behind me, then I just walk off. I walk to the side like I'm gonna cross the street, and I wait for them to go by, and then I start walking again. Because I don't want someone walking behind me, because then I want to see them coming if they're gonna come at me. But I really don't know what it comes from. I couldn't tell you why I'm so uncomfortable. Uh, it probably has more to do with my PTSD than schizophrenia, honestly. Um, but I don't know. I ain't a doctor. I just know I don't like crowds and cities and whatnot. That's why I live out in the middle of bumfuck Egypt, in the middle of nowhere. Um, oh right. Wow, we're already at 20 minutes. I guess we can go pretty. I guess we can go a little bit longer. Today, since it's still Friday. I know the Saturday and Sunday podcast. I always do shorter podcasts because I don't want to waste y'all's time. And honestly, Saturday and Sunday are like the lowest listened to podcasts. I could do like the best podcast in the world on a Saturday and Sunday. People just don't have fucking time. They're too busy. They're too busy partying on the weekend, or reading their Bible, or playing video games, whatever they're doing. Um. Anyway, my best day I think is Monday. I always do really good on Mondays. I think that's because like I'm the only one awake at that time. I was so excited this week, um, because I was able to get out of bed earlier pretty much the whole week. I had to set like 25 alarms, but the problem is I go to bed late, um, and then expect to be able to get up early. I should go to bed early and then get up early, but I end up always going to bed late because I'm a night owl, and I sit here at fucking 11 o'clock at night drinking coffee, and uh, I don't know. You remember I hate the song because the I'll keep the reason why I hate it to myself. But you remember the song? Think it was in the '90s, "Meet Virginia," where uh where it's like if you like drinking coffee at midnight when the moment is just right. That line from it, I like that line like sings itself in my head every time I get coffee at night. Cause oh man. Um. All right. That's about it. So let's wrap this up. So I am trying to be more active on YouTube. I am trying to be more active on Twitter. I did manage to update the website like I promised. So I updated the website, theschizophrenialife.com, with a new tab for the bucket list project. I hope you guys will join me in doing the bucket list project. I asked a friend since no one commented on the YouTube video, so I couldn't add other people's. The whole goal is if you go to the YouTube and comment like 10 things that you would put on your bucket list. Every single person, I don't care if 1,000 people comment, I'm going to take all those bucket list items and put them on the website. And we're going to make a master bucket list. Everyone's bucket list. So then the goal is at least once a week, everyone, you scroll through the master bucket list and pick one. It doesn't have to be from yours, it can be from anyone's. And say you don't have a lot of time, then you scroll through and pick one that can be done real fast. And you just do one thing off the master bucket list every week. And that's the bucket list project. So the website is already up to date, with a couple items I threw on there, and from people that I in person asked. Um, and then as soon as people start commenting on the video, the intro bucket list on YouTube, then and it's under the playlist, the bucket list project. Um, comment on any of the videos under the bucket list project, or just I guess send me a message on any of the platforms. Uh, but I'd appreciate obviously on YouTube, so that it gets a little bit of attention. Um, Regardless, I'm gonna add it. I don't care. 10 people, 1,000, 100,000 people comment. I don't care. I'm gonna add all of them to the website. We're gonna have a master bucket list. We're all gonna go out, have a good time, and it teaches you to live in the moment, not always say I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it when I retire. A lot of people, like especially my age, people in their 20s, 30s, 40s, they always say, "Oh, I can't wait till I retire. Then I'm gonna go fishing. I'm gonna take that trip I always wanted to do when I retire." Or maybe you're busy, maybe you're in college and you say, I really want to do this, but I'll do it in 4 years when I graduate." It's always tomorrow. It's always next year. It's always when I, it's always in the future. That's a problem because the future is not guaranteed. You could walk out and get hit by a bus and it's over. So the future is not guaranteed. And so you need to live in the moment. And so the bucket list project, by having a master bucket list, you can go through and pick something that you can get done every week and live in and do things. Maybe you find things and do things that you never thought you would do, but it teaches you to live for the now. Don't wait until you retire or don't wait till that bus hits you. Enjoy life now. Life is about the journey, not the destination. We all have the same destination. It's a fucking tombstone. So, I love y'all. I hope you enjoyed this podcast and if you can if you got value out of this, um please share the podcast with anyone. Your loved one, your friends, your coworkers, anyone. Just one person. I'm not asking you to share it with all your friends and relatives. Just one person. So, that's it. Love y'all. If you need anything, let me know.